Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Good to see y'all. Now in this video I have 3 champions that I'm using quite a bit for pretty much everything you can think of, and in that video we're going to take a quick look at them and hopefully it's informative for you. It'll help you out if you have this champion. If you don't, then you'll have some knowledge and be ready if you do pull this champion. Can we quickly snipe what we can for the video? We found an ancient shard, unexpected, but thank you, I'll take it. So, video is off to an awesome start. Now, the first champion that I'm pretty much falling in love with, not based on looks, but I'm using him pretty much everywhere, is Jester Blood Twin. If you take a look at him first of all, pretty badass. He is just, there's just a shell with fire inside it. So how he can see anybody, I do not know. He has no eyes, unless he is kind of like an adapted tremor from like maybe the 5th or the 6th movie, where he uses heat to detect people. I'm not sure, but either way, he's pretty badass. Now we'll just quickly, the aura quickly is ally accuracy, and that's in all battles by 70. So if you get him early game, you can't get him from the 3v3 bazaar, or if you're lucky enough to pull him early game, use him as your lead for the aura. The extra 70 will be great until you can work on your Great Hall. It'll help you get all your debuffs landed, especially for trying to get up to 20 or 25 in dungeons. Just pretty much whatever you take him, easy Doom Tower. The accuracy will help you by more than you can actually realize. So his passive is part of the fun part of him in general. I take him into a fight knowing people are going to hit him. And now, as before the provoke is landed, and when people hit him, this is not booked yet, I'll have to either wait for CVC or win some tournaments or just try and get some books. He's got a chance of basically burning people to death. 75% chance that when he's attacked places a HP burn. This champion's resistance increases by 10 for every enemy under a HP burn. Now, I think I'm sitting at 200, potentially 250 or 280 resistance. 50 more puts me to 330, which in turn, if I take him into Doom Tower, means I'm pretty much good for everything. I should have enough resistance that I'm at the upper echelon of resisting pretty much everything that they can throw at me. So, A2 Burning Lash. This is really cool. He has a provoke on a 60% chance when it's booked for 1 turn, and it goes to 100% chance if they're under a HP burn debuff. If the places a decreased attack debuff for 2 turns if the provoke is placed. So if there's a HP burn up, the 40% chance to land the provoke goes to 100. And because you're landing the provoke, you are then landing decreased attack, which takes all of these hard hitters and makes them wet noodles, protecting himself and your team. And on the A1, hits 3 times, 30% chance, it's extra damage with the books of placing HP burn debuff for 2 turns. And he has a lifesteal aspect to his kit because he will heal 20% of the damage inflicted if the target is under a HP burn debuff. So he provokes, he gets hit, they all get HP burn. Because there's HP burn, he heals himself, while at the same time putting up decrease attack and solidifying a provoke. So he's a great utilitarian as far as support, good in damage. He's just pretty much just good overall. If you don't have him from the bazaar, then stick with 3v3. It sucks, I know, but I've been there and it is totally worth it. He's such a fantastic champion. He is pretty much the Doom Tower MVP. So we have next Vilisink the OnBoard, another champion that she was sitting at 50 for a while, and she wasn't really good before, but since this little buff, it's kind of hot. I was going to say it's a really kind of interesting look for a champion, but it isn't it ain't War Mother. So Vilisink, after her buff, she's a lot better. So allied defense and fasten crypts 37%, which in fasten crypts she is the queen. She makes the faction so much easier, you have no idea. She is like the Broadmaw of the Dark Elves. AoE places a provoke debuff for a turn, places a shield buff on herself equal to 20% of her max HP for 2 turns. So push the provoke out, basically everybody will focus on her, enabling all of your other teammates to be undamaged, unthreatened. Now another AoE, this has got a 100% chance when you book it of placing decreased speed, the 30% version, and ally protection on everybody except her. So when the enemies are provoked, this is kind of null and void, but in general, put up ally protection in case there's AoE attacks or heavy hitters, etc. Vilisink puts herself in that line of danger, takes that damage onto herself to keep everybody alive, which is just fantastic. Hence why the shield that she gives herself works out really well. Flange Mace is just attacks one enemy twice, and that is 100% chance when you book it of decreasing the turn meter by 15%, and basically whatever turn meter is reduced from the enemy, she gives it to herself, which is a straight swap. If she wants 15%, she's taking 15%. If she gets 10, she's taking 10. That's how it is. But overall, her buff made her so good. On top of the aura for faction wars, she goes and provokes, gives herself a shield. When she's all shielded up, she decreases the speed of the enemy, gives everybody ally protection, so the enemies will attack, but they've been slowed down. Ally protection means everybody else is safe in case of AoE shrapnel damage, and while you're at it, she is removing turn meter at the same time, so Vilisink the OnBoard went from unusable to pretty much viable in every single aspect. Like I say, I wouldn't use it in clan boss, don't really see the point. But everywhere else, Vilisink is just as valuable as a lot of other champions that we see nowadays. She is now one of the best. She now bears the Void Lego name proudly. She now has the right to keep it, and she should be a Void Lego because she's absolutely amazing and she deserves to be a Void Lego. Another champion that I kind of use a lot and I like for his survival part of his kit, for his damage, for how he is in general, is Rotos. So quickly, his passive, instead of reading it all out, it basically just says he can't be one shot, but if damage exceeds 50% of his HP, he gets a turn to attack, and decreases the damage taken from bosses by 15%. And if Sifi the Lost Bride is on the same team, it's 30%. So it's a nice passive. You just can't one shot him with a single hit. It would need to be a multi-hitter. So Fated Destruction is a really good move. It was nerfed a little bit, but not necessarily. Only nerfed as far as arena. In other aspects of the game, the HP of enemies is so high that the A2, you will be using it pretty much before the A3 kills them anyway, so he's still viable in Ice Golem, against the waves, in Doom Tower, for his block revive, because the HP of the enemies has risen so much. But pretty much, he ignores defense, he ignores unkillable and block damage. Enemies killed by this cannot be revived, like I say, if he has gained 60k damage from Vitality Plunder, his A2. and if he kills someone, he will get an extra turn. So pretty much, I normally just one-shot arbiters anyway. If there's a reviver in the team, I kill them first, get the extra shot. I can go on auto, I don't really care. As long as the reviver is down, you're good. If there is not a reviver on the enemy team, then the nerf is really pointless, doesn't make a difference, because nobody can be revived anyway, so then not having the block revive is kind of irrelevant. The Vitality Plunder here decreases the champion's max HP by 20%, adds that to himself, and he cannot reduce the HP of an enemy by more than 60%. So if you take him into Spider, for instance, hypothetically speaking, you could take the HP down only to a certain point, same with Ice Golem, only to a certain point, or the odds for the Ice Golem only to a certain point, and people in waves and so on. But whatever HP he takes off of them, he gives to himself, and if it's more than 60k HP, that enables the block revive for his A3. Terror Scourge can hit just as hard as Vitality Plunder does, and the boost go to damage, but it's a chance to place decreased defense, the big version, for 2 turns, and also triggering an extra turn. I've seen this proc 4 or 5 times, not even in Relentless, and I still use Rotos Ice Golem. I can solo Griffin's ass with him, easy. You can take him into a lot of the spiders. I don't think it's Sorath. Is it Sorath? Sorath's Frost Spider. The other one that has the little minions that if they counter-attack they heal. He's good for that because you need single target damage. So Rotos is still a champion, even though he got nerfed a while back. It only really applies to Arena if there's a reviver on the opposing team. If you go into Ice Golem 20, there's no way the A3 is one-shotting someone. So by the time you've used the A2, the enemies have done the AoE, decreased defense, or whatever they're doing. When the fated destruction's time has come, or the cooldown has been worked, he can then block that revive. It's easy. He's a very good champion. He's actually not that bad on books either. He was my very first Lego that I did book, and ultimately one of my 3 top favourites. So it's a really kind of short video here. Jester, Blood Twin, Vilisink and Rotos is just 3 champions that there's so much more champions that I could talk about, but that 3 just kind of stick out as I have to tell you guys how good they are. And if you have one of them, use them. I mean, Rotos was a fusion. I was lucky to pull him from a shard. Jester you can get from fragments, and also you can get Vilisink from 270 days of play within the game, so she's free. And as a Void Lego, she bears that name proudly because she is a good Void Lego. So guys, it's a short video. It's 3 of my favourite champions. Down below in the comments, tell me 3 of your favourite champions and why you like them. And as always guys, stay safe, keep on raiding, and I will see you soon. Take care.